We have more information on AEW's Continental Cup tournament that will conclude at All In Wembley at the end of August, and I have a wild prediction for that.
Scroll the script!
Welcome back, everybody, to Screw the Script. I'm your host, as always, Maverick. Thanks for joining me this Tuesday. It is another edition of the Top Turnbuckle Topic, so let's get right into it.
It's time to swoop. Mavericks got the scoop. It's the top turnbuckle topic.
As I stated at the beginning of the video, AEW released the Continental Cup. Tony Khan, an oppressor for the Continental Cup selection show from yesterday, he went on to say he's confirmed that AEW will hold 2 Continental Championship tournaments every year going forward. Your Continental Cup, that'll happen in the summer going forward, starting with this month's leading up to All In. And then the usual Continental Classic, which I think the C2 is the best pro wrestling tournament in pro wrestling today. And that happens in the winter. Here are the names. This was a 16-man blind draw tournament. You've got Moxley, the champ, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, Nigel McGuinness, Shibata, David Finlay, Ace Austin, Jay White, Matt Sydal, Jungle Jack Perry, Jake Doyle, Brian Cage, Hechicero, Claudio, and Eddie Kingston is returning. We haven't seen him in quite a while. Those are the 16 names in the tournament. And down below, here are the rules of how it works. No outside interference. No time limits. 16 wrestlers compete in 8 blind draw matches, which I'll get to in a moment what the first 8 are. The 8 winners then compete in 4 blind draw matches. 4 winners move on to the semifinals in Glasgow, Scotland on August 26th. And then the Cup final takes place at Wembley Stadium at All In August 30th. Winner of final will receive the Continental Cup and will be the new AEW Continental Champion. Now, one big difference between the Cup and the C2, the big difference is that if you lose, you are out. This is not going to be a round robin like the C2 where you get more chances to pick up points. It's one and done. If you lose, you are out. Here are the first 8 matches coming up on Collision. They're going to start with Collision, which I really like that they're starting this on Collision rather than Dynamite next week, as they are really putting more emphasis in Collision this year of 2026. It has become must-see TV for AEW fans. For the first round, you got Orange Cassidy against Sydal. I'm picking Orange Cassidy to win this. Claudio against Ace Austin. I've got Claudio winning that. Jake Doyle versus Eddie Kingston. I would love to see Eddie Kingston win. I think he's going to be a dark horse in this, despite missing some time. And then heading into next week, Jay White and David Finlay. This is the most interesting one, I think, of the entire first round. I've got Jay White moving on here because there is no outside interference allowed, so the dogs are not going to get involved and cause Jay White the win. I got him winning. Jack Perry and Moxley will be next Wednesday the 12th. I got Moxley winning that. Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. This is a toss-up. I'm going Roddy Strong. Brian Cage will beat Hechicero, and it's going to further escalate the issues that the Don Callis family has within its family. As once Brian Cage is my prediction here to win this, once he wins, I think they're really giving him a push, and I think it's going to anger Hechicero, and we're going to see more issues in the Don Callis family. And then Shibata versus Nigel. I want Nigel to win this as well. Those are my picks for the first round, but ultimately, what I was saying earlier, I have a wild prediction. You guys, I think Jay White is going to win all of this, but my wild prediction is Nigel. I don't know why, but something in my mind is telling me that Nigel McGuinness is going to win this and hold AEW gold just one time in his career before he fully calls it quits. That is my wild prediction. I don't know why. The safe bet is Jay White, to finally have Jay White win, or I guess just have Jon Moxley tear through everybody and retain. I guess that's the true safe pick. I would love to see Jay White get some singles gold, but my wild pick, I don't know why, is Nigel McGuinness. I could be eating my words by next Saturday if he loses right away to Shibata. But again, I stated at the beginning a wild pick I had, a wild pick, and there it is. Nigel McGuinness is my wild pick, my wild card pick. For whatever reason, my gut's telling me he wins. But the true safe way is to have Moxley retain or have Jay White win. Ultimately, I think it is going to come down to Moxley and Jay White, as they probably won't face each other in the tournament until it gets down to the final two. I feel like that's probably the match that we're going to get at All In, but AEW surprises everybody, and they've done really well all of 2026 with surprises, because goddamn, they have had some insane surprises this year, and who knows, we could literally see the finals be someone like Eddie Kingston and Ace Austin. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous and impossible, but in AEW, you have to expect the impossible. So let me know down below your thoughts on the Continental Cup. Do you like the idea? It's going to be something we're going to see every summer now going forward. And give me your predictions on who you think is going to win, and then give me a wild card prediction on who you want to see win. I have one other thing here on the shorter video before we get into my DDT, and I've got two for the DDT. From Sean Ross Sapp, sources across TNA and AEW told Fightful Select this weekend they believe Mara will go to AEW. She is the significant other of Kevin Knight, so I think it's all but a done deal, essentially. And if you haven't seen her work in TNA, I know a lot of you don't watch TNA, but it's one of the few highlights from TNA. I think she's pretty good in the ring. Also very young. I kind of want to see a power couple in AEW. We haven't seen that in quite some time. Honestly, I think the last time we did was Cody and Brandy Rhodes. So I think if she jumped over, have Kevin Knight break away from the Don Callis family and be a singles heel on his own, but then have Mara come out with him, and the two of them would be a power couple because she wrestles too. Let me know down below what you think about that idea. And before we get to the DDT segment now of this video, again, as always, like, comment, and subscribe if you're new watching this. I got a lot of new subscribers off my last video, so hyping the video really, really helps you guys. I don't think it's coincidence. My last video, I reminded you guys, and it got over 100,000 hype points, which I am very thankful for. Let's keep the train going. Let's get more people to join the STS Society. And for those of you who are watching that are new here, that just subscribed, either last night, my late post yesterday, or last week, welcome to the STS Society. Here at Screw the Script, we go against a script that says AEW is going to fail. All those AEW haters that wish for AEW to fail, they can all screw off. Here, we are a pro AEW channel, and I love All Elite Wrestling, and I truly do believe it is where the best wrestle. Now on to the DDT segment of this video. Again, I have two of them for you. First, one that's happening tomorrow. We saw the Ciampa Andrade Commander match for the number one position at Wembley for the Casino Gauntlet. Right beneath that, a person says AEW is better than WWE. Tell that shit to Hunter. I agreed with that. But down below is where the DDT is. Vicky at Dark Sky OXX. AEW sucks and don't use their women roster. First off, get better at proper grammar and punctuation and vocabulary, really. And secondly, what are you talking about? I think AEW's women's division is far superior than WWE's right now. I mean, look at the shit that we got over SummerSlam. An awful women's tag match, a predictable ladder match. There was only one championship match for a 2-night event for the women, and it was okay. The other two matches were not that great, especially that Bella Twins one. And look at their weekly shows. They're lost outside of like 4 women over in WWE. Where over in AEW, the TBS Championship, the AEW Women's Championship, the Women's Tag Team Championships are all highlighted really well. Divine Dominion, they're badass. Willow, she's a badass. Maya World, who is, 22 years young? She's awesome. An example of young talent getting pushed over in AEW that you don't really see over in WWE. AEW women are great. And so for those reasons, Vicky, you are the first half of this video's DDT. And then the second half goes out to good old Raj Giri. Oh boy. He said this after SummerSlam. I'd argue that the Shield has been WWE's greatest faction. It's either them or DX. I don't think it's either of them. I think it's Evolution with Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, and Ric Flair back then. I think that was their peak faction. It needed a proper closure, and it finally happened. I loved how they told that story in the match. This is going to sound corny, but there is an art to storytelling in wrestling, and Roman is the best at it. Oh my God, that last sentence almost made me puke. Roman is not even close to being the best at storytelling. Again, this is a guy who was force-fed to us wrestling fans for like 7 years before we just socially accepted him and gave up on not wanting him. He couldn't cut a damn promo to save his life. Do we all remember that promo? I think it was against John Cena about a decade ago where he like flustered his words and everything. He could not cut promos for the longest time, even though he was shoved down our damn throats. And he still, he'll have a decent promo here and there. But Paul Heyman has basically been his voice for the last, 4 or 5 years now. Heyman can cut good promos. Heyman cuts promos for Roman Reigns typically. So for those reasons, Rajgiri, I think not only are you the second half of this DDT, but I think Chris Jericho has something to say to you.
You just made the list!
That's all I had on this episode of Screw Script. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on the Continental Cup, what your safe pick is, what your wild card pick is. How do you feel about my Kevin Knight idea? What do you think about the DDTs in this video? As always, this has been Maverick, your voice for you sickos out there. Thanks for watching.